What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Tank Rise postgame show. The Blazers today played the OKC Thunder. Yeah, the OKC Thunder that are now 52-11. So, of course, they got blown out. OKC, one of the best teams in the league, one of the favorites to win the championship, right? Behind Aaron Wiggins and Jalen Williams from Arkansas. That lineup. One of the favorites to win it all. No, all seriousness, Thunder missing their entire starting lineup, man. Their entire starting lineup still destroy the Portland Trailblazers. This game broke me, Eric. This game broke me, and that's basically going to be this postgame show is just like a giant rant, because this game annoyed me more than any game all season. Any game all season, even more than the 40-point loss to the Utah Jazz, even more than the 40-point loss to the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a game... Well, I'll say the players didn't really annoy me more, but as far as Chauncey and the coaching, this game pissed me off. So I'm going to vent. I need to vent. I need to let it all out. And that's what this post-game show is going to be. Of course, powered by BetUS as well. Eric, how are you doing? At least it's Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday. Thank goodness for that. This game freaking sucked, dude. It was horrible. It sucked watching. Yeah, they made it interesting for a little bit in the second half, but we're just standing around doing nothing but ISOs on offense, and it was just so frustrating. And this, man, you've been very negative after losses about how they need to win those games or whatever if they're gonna have a chance to make it, And I was kind of saying we thought we were gonna lose to Boston anyway, and stuff like that. So we could still do this, right? But shame on me for actually thinking this team was gonna possibly make a run at that last play-in spot, because you just do not play like this in a game like this. I don't care how tired you are. You do not show up like this in a game that this is basically a must win if you want to catch those teams above you. And the Blazers just didn't show up and played absolute dog crap. So I don't know, man. It's very frustrating as a Blazer fan, because we talked about this. We didn't necessarily want to be in this position where we're not going to make the play-in and then not bad enough to tank for a high pick, but here we are right in that position. Yep. And we had all these people tell us, just believe, man, we're going to be in the playoffs, blah, 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 and yeah, great, cool, that'd be awesome, but we're not even going to do that either. So, what
would it even be awesome? Would it even be awesome? What, we get into the playoffs and then we face this team? We can't even lose by less than 18 against their freaking second unit? Their second unit, Eric. Their second freaking unit. We let Jalen Williams, the worst version, get a triple-double. We let Aaron Wiggins get 30 points. Alex Caruso looked like a bona fide scorer tonight against us, and then our offense was a complete joke. Listen, Chauncey, this game is the perfect example of why I'm still fully out on Chauncey and why I don't think Chauncey has really grown that much as a coach. And you touched upon it with the offense. We're going to talk about how freaking stagnant and just BS that offense was. But part of what really annoyed me before this stream is listening to the Blazers try and sugarcoat things on the post-game show with, the start of that post-game show with Haberstroh and a Michael Holton quote. And basically... Before some streams, sometimes I hear what they have to say. Before others, I get the stream started fast and I don't actually hear what they have to say. Tonight was one of those days where I actually listened to a little bit of it. And basically the narrative right now around this team is it took a historical performance for Boston to beat us by 10. Almost as if giving up a historical performance to Derek White and Peyton Pritchard is a good thing somehow. And then... Michael Holton legitimately said, we lost, our last three losses are against teams that are going to be basically contending for the championship. And it's not this OKC lineup. Yeah, Aaron Wiggins and Jalen Williams, the worst version, is going to lead them to a finals. I mean, come on, man. The Blazers had the more talented lineup tonight, and they got thoroughly outclassed. And Chauncey got thoroughly outcoached. And it goes all the way down to his freaking stupid rotations again. Because that is going to be a big point of emphasis as well. The freaking rotations, man. The offense, going to a zone defense against a 5-out lineup is just ridiculous as well. And he did it in the middle of us going on a run. Chris Murray was really bad tonight. Jeremy Grant is almost unplayable, which is insane, given that he's making $32 million a year. 2 for 10 for him. And yeah, this was just a disgusting, disgusting game. You know, Anthony Simons got on a heater in the second quarter. I think had like 5 buckets in the second quarter. He only had 5 buckets on the game. Did he not score a field goal the other 3 quarters? I mean, he had 1 good quarter and was nothing outside of that. But it really just comes back to the offense, the rotations. Why are you switching to a zone defense? Why are you dropping Klingon so far back that you're just giving up open shots? Like, the team looks confused. The Thunder are a well-coached team. Every time Chauncey Billups goes up against a well-coached team, his teams look pathetic. It doesn't matter the lineups, right? Because let's just do a little thought experiment here. I'm all over the place, but let's just do a little thought experiment here, Eric. If the Blazers had the Thunder lineup tonight and the Thunder had the Blazers lineup tonight, Chauncey would have found a way to lose by 30 with Aaron Wiggins in the lineup the Thunder was trotting out there, right? And what would have everyone said in Chauncey's defense? What do you want him to do? His whole starting lineup is injured. He can't do anything with all these injuries. You really expect that roster to go out and win a basketball game against a team that's been playing well? Yeah, what coach can win a championship with these guys? Why are expectations so high? Look at the roster. Well, you better have that same freaking energy towards the Thunder because their roster is not as good as the Portland Trail Blazers roster tonight. They had all the freaking excuses. They're not even playing for anything. They have the 1 seed locked up. The Blazers are supposedly trying to play their way into the play-in, and, you know, they're really motivated to try and make it to the play-in, and yet all we hear from, like, the broadcast is just subtle little, like, yeah, this is the end of a 7-game trip. They're tired. I don't care. You're playing a team missing their whole starting lineup, not playing for anything, and they not only play with more energy, but they look like a much more well-coached team. But yet, here's the thing. Mark Diagonal doesn't sit there and think, man, look at my starting 5 is completely bench players. Like, look at the guys I have to play tonight. You know, I have to start Ousmane Dieng and Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, and I got to play Brandon Carlson 14 minutes and Dylan Jones 25 minutes and Adam Flagler 8 minutes off the bench. Oh, man, my lineup's so bad. There's nothing I can do. I guess I'll just give up. You know, not much I can do. That's the same defense that people have for Chauncey when he's put in those situations. All right, fine. If you want to defend Chauncey with that, you better criticize him when he actually has the healthier lineup and he actually has the better lineup and the other coach is the guy missing a bunch of players. But no, it's never that same energy. Instead, right now it's, well, we just couldn't make any shots. We just couldn't make any shots. It's always the other team made shots, or we couldn't make any shots, or the roster's not good enough. And basically all of that is used to excuse Chauncey Billups, and it's freaking ridiculous. When you play iso ball against a good defense, which the Thunder are, when you play iso ball against a good defense that's well coached, you're not going to get good shots. Guess what? When you don't get good shots, you miss more freaking shots. That is the recipe for missing shots. It's not as simple as, yeah, we just missed some shots, man. They did not get good shots all game long. Their shot selection was terrible, and it looked like they didn't run a set for a long period of time throughout this game. I mean, there was even a comment. I forget when it was or what exactly it was, but like, oh, this is the first set the Blazers have run in a while. The offense was a freaking joke. It's more Chauncey offense that just has no structure. And that's why you go 8 for 43 from 3. It's not just, oh, we missed good shots. You didn't get good shots in the first place. You could not manufacture good shots because you weren't running anything. Your half-court offense is still a joke. It's a joke just like it was at the start of the season. Chauncey's set, I can't even sit here and say it's Chauncey's sets because, like, dude, they didn't run anything. There were so many possessions where it's pass to somebody. He tries to go one-on-one. He can't figure it out. He passes to the next guy. He tries to go one-on-one. He can't figure it out. Pass to the next guy. Step back, contested, double team 3, and, oh, he missed it. All right, well, you can sit here and say, oh, well, he just missed that double-teamed fadeaway three. But why the hell is our offense producing those crappy shots? I know they're a good defense, but come on, you got to run something. You got to have some sort of structure. This game, they had no structure offensively. It was a complete freaking joke. Complete freaking joke. Oh, but you know what? Chris Murray, 26% three-point shooter Chris Murray misses a open transition three. I'll get into him later because that pissed me off too. But like Eric, just the offense was a joke in this game, and that's not even my biggest gripe with Chauncey in this game. But what were your thoughts on the offense, dude?
Well, it's frustrating when you're watching a bunch of guys who, I mean, they're not no names to casuals or whatever, but like you watch them move so well off ball, setting off ball screens, like running off ball actions that lead to mismatches and getting open baskets and guys downhill going towards the basket and things like that, or open threes. And then you watch how quickly and decisively they move the ball around the perimeter, swing from side to side, and they just look like an experienced team out there. And then you look at us with better offensive personnel running just absolute garbage, like nothing. And we had several times where Anthony Simons got double teamed the minute he got the ball past half court, and we just threw it across to the other side and let the defense recover from the trap, like waited for them to get back to their guy, and then we tried to go one-on-one again. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, any team that double teams any of our players, we had Sharp have this happen to him. I forget which game, a couple games ago. They were starting to double him when he was going off. And that should be like such an easy way to run an offense. If you have that kind of stuff, you should make teams absolutely pay for double teaming you that high. And we just never create any pressure off of it. We never get downhill from it and take advantage of the 4-on-3 it should create. And it drives me crazy because I think back to the Pelican series in 2018, and it's been that way under two coaches now, and it's frustrating, man. But then you watch a guy like Mark Diagonal get a team of bench players to play like they're like a 52-win team and make our team look like crap. And it's just frustrating that we don't have a coach that can orchestrate that kind of stuff. And then instead, after the game, I thought it was a great trip, 4-3. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, like it's just it's kind of frustrating to me, man.
Is that what he was saying in his post-game press conference? Because I didn't listen.
He said he thought it was a good trip. Yeah, he thought it was a good trip. Yeah.
Dude, you're celebrating mediocrity.
Yep.
He's celebrating mediocrity. Their 4 wins came against 4 tanking teams.
Real quick, Tori, when Michael Holton, I know we talked about this before we went on, but when he said, "Oh, our last 3 losses are against teams that are all contending for the championship, so nothing to hang your head on," or whatever, I literally screamed, "Oh, shut the F up" to my TV, and I know you did something similar. And
I hate that. I hate that.
It's such a, like you said, it's such a mediocrity type of mindset. Like, it just that kind of mindset is exactly why we don't want to be stuck in this position where we're not good enough to compete and we're not bad enough to bottom out and really get a difference maker. It's frustrating, man. It's just it seems to be like the whole organization is okay with this kind of stuff, and we look like, oh, look at these negative Nancys, right? Always mad on their channel. Well, we've had this channel since 2019, and we've done nothing but ruin a team that went to the Western Conference Finals and been like decision after decision, ownership, GM, coaching. It's all been pretty piss poor since then. There hasn't been a ton to get excited about in terms of, wow, look what OKC created in that time. Look what other teams have built during the same time frame that we could be excited about like 5 or 6 years later, and we'd be like on the come up now. It's frustrating, man. It's I don't know, man. I know it's still we're not it's just one game and all this kind of stuff. But like, it's a microcosm of being a fan of the Blazers. You know, you finally get excited. We have a chance to win in OKC when, like, you would have scheduled this as a loss earlier in the season, and now like we're like, oh, it's okay. We still lost because they're, you know, they're the number one seed in the West. So like, it's fine that we lost this game, right? Like, we're still only like 7.5 games now back. You know, like, I'm just joking, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we still have a chance for the play. You know?
Yeah, like, we still have a chance for the 10 seed. We're celebrating being 8 games below 500. We're celebrating that, man, we lost by 18 tonight against the 1 seed. It's okay. You know, they only started their freaking bench unit. We were only 2-point underdogs or something around that going into this game. We lost by 18. 18. So it's like, your last 3 losses are against good teams. They were all missing their best player. The Celtics were missing 3 starters. The Thunder were missing 5. Your last 2 losses, you only played against 2 out of 10 starters.
Rotation players, yeah.
And you lost both games by double digits. When you're sitting here trying to act like, yeah, we've turned a corner, yeah, we're ready to push for a play-in, you know, we're new and improved. And then it's like, nope, we're the same old Blazers. And that's what's frustrating, is like people saying, man, just root for a play-in, stop rooting for tanking. That's what the people that don't like our negativity say, right? It's like, root for the play-in, this team is better, you know, stop rooting for ping pong balls. And I'm like, all right, fine, let's do it. We got a great opportunity to win tonight against the Thunder without their entire starting lineup, and these are the types of games we're going to have to win against a tough schedule to make the play-in. All right, we got a great chance. All right, let's root for it. I'm going to start rooting for wins. I'm going to root for this 10th seed. That is our number 1 goal. And it's like, every time I start rooting for this team to win and push for the play-in, they slap me in the face like, nope, stop. Nope, we're still the Blazers, man. We're still rebuilding. And it's like what I keep trying to tell people, like, they're still in a rebuild. Some people said the rebuild's over. No, they're still in a rebuild. They still got some serious flaws that they have not worked through well enough to be able to beat a bunch of good teams to make the play-in. Like, The only way they make the play-in is if the Mavs lose, like, every game the rest of the year. Because if you can't win games like this, how are you expected to beat the Cavs at home if they're healthy, or the Celtics at home if they're healthy, or the Thunder at home if they're healthy? If you can't win on the road when they're missing their best players, right?
Well, how are you going to win 2 play-in games too, even if you get the play-in?
exactly. So it's like, what is, and if we do, what is the point of having the Thunder mollywop us in the first round? We might have like the worst margin of victory in a sweep, or the worst margin of loss in a sweep ever if we have to play this team in the first round. They dominate us. They absolutely dominate us. Even when they are missing their entire starting lineup, they still beat us by 18. They own us. They own us. We are a long, long way from being able to be competitive with this freaking team, and it's why we shouldn't be excited about getting a potential 10th seed, because this rebuild still needs some serious help. It still needs some serious young talent in order to be competitive against the Thunder or the best teams in the league, which should be the goal. The goal should be to beat these teams one day, to be among these teams one day. It shouldn't be, man, if we just have a close loss against a really good team, that's a win in our book, moral victory. That should not be the goal of this rebuild. So it's just like everything, like this game was like everything came to a head for me in terms of, all right, fine, I started rooting for this team to make a play-in, and they can't even win a game like this. They can't even be competitive in a game like this. But then also, another thing that really pissed me off, Eric, the Blazers were down by like 20-some points. How'd they get back into the game in the third quarter?
Well, before we move on to the rotation thing, can I say something about some of the things you said? Yeah. So, ask me that question again in a minute.
I got you.
So, when people say this stuff like, well, you guys should be rooting for the play, and why would you root for a tank and all this kind of stuff? It doesn't matter what we root for. Like, that doesn't make, like...
What I root for, the opposite happens. I'll just say that, man.
Like, even if this channel was nothing but I would do anything for the Blazers to be the 10th seed. That's like the main goal for this channel. Like, that would be the best thing ever. Like, that's not going to make them overcome a 5-game deficit here in the last 18 games or whatever and, like, get them there or whatever. And then there was a comment on last stream, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on you, Tyler Smith, but, like, he says, so go ahead and complain that we lost to the defending champs while advocating for this team to tank into another 9th pick. Okay, one, we don't want them to tank to get the 9th pick. We want them to tank to get a freaking higher pick.
Yeah.
And we haven't had that. When was the last time we had the 9th pick? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, come on. Like,
yeah,
we wanted them to be bad, so we got to pick higher than 9th. You're basically complaining that we're mad that we're doing the exact same thing you think you want us to do, or like it makes no sense. Like, we don't want them to be the 9th pick. We want them to be bad or good. Like, this isn't what we want.
Like there is some things that we wanted that have happened this season. Scoot's development, Sharp's development right now. Those are big bright spots, right?
Yes.
Independent of that, okay, outside of that, everything else, there's still some major issues, you know? Like, there's a lot of good things with young individual players, but in terms of, like, the direction of the team and, like, how they're going to build a contender, that is still on a very rocky foundation, okay? That is still on a very rocky foundation. That's the ultimate goal of this rebuild. That's why we focus so much on that, where people are all happy about losing a close game to a depleted, good team, and it's like, all right, well, you already ruined the tank. You might as well make a play-in, so we're going to hold you to that standard. You got to be able to win games like this where it's almost a toss-up going in, and you're playing against a lineup that's even worse. That's even worse than you. You got to be able to win these games then. So it's like, all right, let's root for that. Nope, doesn't happen. At the same time, it's like, you should be frustrated if you're rooting for the tank or rooting for the play-in. You should be frustrated. Like, being in the middle sucks. Being in the middle sucks. You don't want the 9th pick. You don't want the 10th pick. You don't want the 11th pick. That's the worst thing. That is the worst thing, because not only are you not in the playoffs and don't get to enjoy playoff basketball or postseason basketball, you're also not getting a good pick. That's the last place we want to be. We would rather be in the play-in at that point than having the 9th or 10th pick. But that's the problem. That is ultimately the problem, is they got to win games like this to make it to the play-in. So if they can't win games like this, then it's like, all right, well, I hope we move up a couple picks and get a little better odds at the top 4. Because otherwise, what's the alternative? You're stuck in the middle. So, yeah, it's extremely frustrating. The young players playing well is extremely encouraging. But, like, are you ready to move on to the next conversation?
Yes. Yep.
It's like, okay, Scoot has showed some major steps this year, all right? And then in a game like this, where we're somehow down 20 in the third or whatever it was, all of a sudden, Scoot starts going off and almost single-handedly brings us back into the game. And does a great job scoring the ball, like putting pressure on the defense, even though our offense is a freaking joke, right? He then gets subbed out. Let me find the exact details here.
Well, while you're saying this or looking that up,
I already got it.
Okay.
So Scoot Henderson leaves the game in the fourth quarter after single-handedly bringing this team back into the game. He leaves the game with 8:57 left in the fourth quarter, and it's like, okay, he probably needs a couple-minute rest. Okay, right? This dude, best player in the second half, young player. Right? We should be focused on his development, but also, he's the one who got us back in this freaking game. All right, let's go win the game. He's a big reason why we're in it in the first place. He gets subbed out with 8:57 remaining. He then sits until 4:57 remaining, enters the game with 4:57 remaining in the fourth quarter, and then gets subbed back out with 4:09. And doesn't play again.
Grant had to come back in.
What the Eric?
We had one field goal in the last 7 minutes, I think.
So in the third quarter, when Scoot was going off, we didn't have a single turnover after having 12 in the first half. Okay? Scoot started scoring the ball and taking care of the ball and actually manufacturing stuff for the offense that was a complete joke under Chauncey Billups all game long that wasn't running crap. Okay? Scoot started figuring that out. And that's why we got back into the game. Because this game was an offensive nightmare. You only scored 89 points, right? But you bench him with 9 minutes remaining and then only sub him back in for less than a single minute later in the quarter and then sub him back out. Meanwhile, we score 16 points in the fourth quarter. The one guy that could calm down our offense and actually make our offense function at all and got us back into the game played less than a minute in the final 9 minutes of this game while we literally could not score. And only had one field goal in the final 7 minutes. Tell me how that makes any freaking sense at all.
Yeah, it does not. Also, I'm not trying to bring Anthony Simons into this, but this same guy, Chauncey Billups, also took Anthony Simons out in the second quarter in the midst of his 13-0 personal run that got us the lead in that quarter, took him out of the game after was like our only offense, and everyone was just standing around. He basically was like, F it, I'm going to take this game over. And he did, got us back into the game, subbed him out, and like brought Jeremy Grant back in. Like it made no sense, dude.
See,
like,
at least he only sat 2.5 minutes where it's like, all right, he needs a little breather. But if somebody's on a heater, if somebody's on a run, like you don't sub him out until they start to cool off. That's when you sub him out, right? Yeah. And if he gets gassed, then he'll start to cool off, and then all right, you sit him for a couple minutes because he's gassed, so he's not able to keep that run going. All right, fine, but you at least see it through to the end. If somebody gets hot, you see that through to the end in a game that you need to win to make a freaking play in. Instead, he doesn't see it through the end. He sits Anthony Simons for only 2.5 minutes, but Anthony Simons comes back in. I don't think he scored the rest of the half.
No, he didn't score the rest of the half. I don't think he scored the rest of the game, did he?
I don't know. Yeah, he was 5 for 16, which feels far worse because it felt like he had like 5 shots in a row.
He was 5 for 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just isn't able. Yeah. So he had a bucket with 11-12, a bucket with 10-45, a bucket with 10-16, a bucket with 9-42, and a bucket with 8-28. So in a 2.5 minute span, Anthony Simons had all his field goal makes for the entire game, and he gets subbed out right after it.
Yeah.
But the Scoot thing is egregious, man.
Uh-huh.
That's freaking ridiculous. That's the thing is like, all right, fine. The one thing we have to hang our hat on, even though we're stuck in the middle, is like Scoot's development. Okay, cool. We can be positive about that. Look at the way Scoot brought us back into this game. Then it's like he gets punished. If you told me, yeah, Chauncey's trying to tank. Chauncey was actively trying to lose this game. That's why he sat Scoot the final 9 minutes and only subbed him in as a joke for less than a minute just to be funny. That would be easier to believe than like, yeah, Chauncey's trying to coach for his coaching career and he's trying to win these games and, you know, this is what he did.
Yeah, so Fuzzy has a great point, and I was thinking this the entire game, Fuzzy. He says, this team doesn't seem to know how to keep a hot player getting the ball. Don't understand that for the life of me. And I kept thinking about this with Sharp during the game. Like, all his baskets he had to, like, create on his own, right? Like, it's at some point, like, run the dude off a freaking off-ball screen or a curl or something. Like, we talk about this all the time, so I know those of you that watching this is really repetitive. But, like, why do we not run anything to get these guys? Like, Anthony's going crazy. He's got to go against the double team and Alex Caruso defending him and like, all this defensive coverage. Like, run a freaking playoff ball to get him a good shot when he's on fire. Run an off-ball play for Sharp to get a 3 or a curl around the free throw line or something. Like, run a freaking play for these guys. Like, and especially when your offense is struggling and you say you're running out of gas and all this stuff, that's when you need some structure and some movement. Like, gosh, it's crazy, dude. Like, I cannot believe we have an NBA team that just does not do anything to help their good players become, like, get better shots. Like, it's just like, okay, make this incredibly tough, you know, step back threes all game, and if you miss them, oh, we just missed shots. Like, what are we supposed to do? We ran out of gas, right? Like,
Yep.
so stupid.
Yep. But okay, there's a comment in chat where if this is Chauncey's thinking, I might explode. Okay, like actually combust. Slim has a comment that says, Scoot forced a few plays, that's why he took him out. I can see the rationale. Not saying I'd do the same because Scoot was making things happen. Bro, Scoot had like a perfect third quarter when our offense was complete crap. But then you're telling me at the start of the fourth where he missed a shot at the rim where he might have gotten fouled and then had a single turnover when everybody else was turning over the ball all game. Chauncey punished him by benching him for the rest of the game? That is stupid. So basically, Scoot had to play a perfect second half to see more than 45 seconds in the final 9 minutes of the game when he was the only reason they were in it? That is ludicrous logic. Ludicrous.
And as Nathan points out, like, that's his offense. Like, what is Scoot supposed to do if his whole offense is predicated on these guys creating something out of nothing? And then you're going to get mad at someone for doing just that and it not working out. Like, of course it's not going to work out most of the time if you have that's your whole offense. Like, it's so dumb. What are we doing?
That's the frustrating thing with the young players with this team is that Chauncey Billups is still coaching them, bringing them off the bench, toying around with their freaking role, and then toying around with their minutes. Like, how does this dude, he's our player of the game, 22 points, 8 for 15 from the field, and he only plays 25 minutes when you're supposedly trying to freaking win. He was our best player in the second half, and he played like 12 minutes the second half. He only played half of the second half when he was our best player, and the reason we got back into the game because what he
couldn't get a bucket for 7 minutes.
He didn't make the right play once or twice. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. This is why I'm out on Chauncey, man. The offense, joke, okay, and then
Jeremy Grant joke.
The way he's married to his vets is a joke. His rotations are a freaking joke. His situational coaching at the end of games has always been a joke. Always. Didn't matter who he had. Didn't matter who. So yeah, this is why Chauncey is not the right coach for this team. This is why he needs to go.
Can Jeremy please have an injury for the rest of the year? Like
a fake injury?
Yeah, like not a real. No, I'm not wishing injury upon him. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yes. I got you.
Can he please have a nondescript injury that keeps him out?
A finger contusion or something that's not really a contusion. Yeah, something. Come up with something. I mean, I
was so bummed when I saw the starting lineup thing with his face on it, and then like, yeah, dude, that was brutal. Like, I know he hadn't played for a few days, but, like, come on,
It's
dude.
crazy how much worse we are with him instead of Denny.
Yeah.
We are a completely different team with Denny. I think part of it is with Chauncey's crappy offense, Denny can go one-on-one and get to the line as well as play make for others. And then he also pushes the ball well in transition, and then his defense gets the Blazers out in transition at times. That's why the team looks completely different. And it's not like Chauncey being a better coach when Denny's in the game. It's Chauncey doesn't need to coach as much with him in the game. Like, you can just let him go one-on-one and create. Yeah, exactly. But the problem is without him, all of a sudden they're like 10 times worse offensively. I love Denny. He's a great player. You should not be this much worse offensively without him unless you have a serious problem. That he basically put some window dressing on in a way. Is how I view that. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Grant is completely useless right now. He's extremely inefficient, doesn't rebound. He was getting cooked today. He was getting cooked. And listen, you could say, oh, it's his first game back from injury. All right, I'd get on board with that if this hasn't been happening all year. His defense has not been good all year. He legitimately got cooked. And there was shots that they missed where it was like, why is he going under that screen there against a good three-point shooter and just leaving him wide open from three? And then he just gets straight driven to the rim off of not even creative like dribble moves or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, somebody just wants to put their head down and drive to the rim. Yeah, they're just going to beat him to the rim. I mean, and then offensively, he's 2 for 10. He's making $32 million a year. He is absolutely one of the worst contracts in the league.
When he got cooked one-on-one off the dribble by Aaron Wiggins like 3 times in a row in the first half, I was just like, dude, get this dude out of... Like, I'd rather have City Sissoko start right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least then we'd have someone.
At least he's not supposed to be a $32 million a year player.
Right. Yeah. Aaron Wiggins is a good player. Like, I'm not trying to throw shade at Aaron Wiggins. But he shouldn't be.
If you're supposed to be a good defensive team, he shouldn't easily cook you the way he did. He got great shots all game long. He met no resistance all game long. And we're supposed to hang our hat on defense? Really? All right. Yeah. And Grant's supposed to be one of our biggest contributors defensively? Okay. We're going to have him. I'm starting to become convinced we're going to have him like 2 or 3 years from now because we're not going to be able to trade him. And we're going to be completely stuck.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant or Bradley Beal? That might be my only option.
I mean, Bradley Beal's expiring a year sooner.
No.
Yeah, but he's also making $20 million. Yeah, he's also making $20 million more a year. Like, it's disgusting. I mean, no.
Donkey, we know Beal is trash. What do you?
So is JG, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just stupid. It's absolutely asinine that Jeremy Grant is still on this team, making the amount of money that Joe Cronin willingly paid him. But yet, you still got Blazers Edge articles that will try and justify the contract Cronin gave him with the most insane logic. I don't know if you saw that article, man. But, yeah, like, it's still, we got to find a way. We got to find a way to make sure Cronin doesn't look bad for paying this guy $32 million a year for 5 years. So we're either going to say it was still worth it, even though we're screwed, or it was Dame's fault. That's literally what it is right now. Because literally everything is designed to try and excuse Joe Cronin, no matter what, from a lot of people with platforms that cover this team. And it doesn't matter how much of a pretzel you have to twist yourself into to defend him. People will find a way. It was Dame's fault, Cronin was blindsided by Dame asking out. So he signed Jeremy Grant, and then a day later, Dame requested a trade. How was Cronin supposed to know that doing nothing all offseason and drafting a 19-year-old point guard after saying they need less youth and they need to be aggressive in building around him? How was Cronin supposed to know that Dame was going to be unhappy with that? Really? Like, I'm just tired of the intellectual dishonesty. I'm tired of it. It drives me crazy, man. It drives me crazy. And the thing is, we have to come on here and fight all this intellectual dishonesty bullcrap. And it's just like, we shouldn't even be having this conversation anymore. He messed up the Grant situation. And it's clear as day, almost every time Grant steps on the floor, that he is not worth that contract.
Yep. That's so frustrating.
Like,
I don't know. What are you supposed to argue? How do you even argue with those people?
You don't. You don't go on Reddit. Like, that place is a cult it's a crony cult headquarter. All right? And that's... Anyway, it's just frustrating, man. Like, all right, we want to just enjoy the young players. If we're going to be stuck in the middle, we want to just enjoy the young players and do or die with them. And it's like, when we start coming back in a game like this, that guy gets benched the rest of the game. The guy who's leading our comeback. It's like, we can't even sink or swim with them. Chauncey won't let us. But also, Cronin won't let us because he put the roster in this position where he has these guys that Chauncey is apparently in love with. I don't want to ever hear like, man, Chauncey just needs his guys, because obviously Jeremy Grant is one of his guys. Obviously Anthony Simons is one of his guys. Like, and supposedly Chauncey never has his guys. So it's like, all right, fine, man. I mean, you put the roster in this position for Chauncey to just be a dumbass with it. All right, fine, sink or swim with the young guys if we're going to be stuck in the middle, but we can't even do that. We can't even enjoy that. And then people wonder why we're like frustrated. The reason this team is better is because of those young guys. So it's like, in order to feel good about this team being better, it's like, all right, fine. I like where the young players are developing. I like our young core. All right, they should be playing the bulk of the minutes. They should be starting. And every night it's just, nope, we are directionless. Look, we're going to play Jeremy Grant 35 minutes in a game where he doesn't do anything on a lot of nights. Look, we're going to sub Jeremy Grant back in at the end of the game instead of Scoot Henderson for some reason. Anyway.
Sorry, my son is popping popcorn, so I just didn't want it to be loud for a minute. It's almost done.
You're fine. You're fine. I'm just reading chat. We're going to do our mock draft here in a little bit. While that's going on, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, BetUS. If you want to bet on March Madness coming up, March Madness right around the corner. Selection Sunday is 9 days from now. And if you want to get in on the action with spread lines, game picks, over-unders, any of that fun stuff for March Madness, one of our favorite times of year, make sure to use BetUS. Make sure to use promo code YouTube150, as you'll get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and 125% bonuses on your next two deposits up to $2,000. I'll drop a video filling out my bracket here on the channel, and I'll give my thoughts on maybe some of the spread lines on BetUS for some of those games. That'll be coming up on the 16th, on that Sunday. That's always one of my favorite videos of the year. And honestly, like, I think if I had picked spread lines in previous years, I would be very rich, Eric. Very rich. Because, like, a lot of the upsets that I'll pick, I'll get close on. I'll get really close on where I should have taken the underdog with the spread line. But maybe it doesn't pan out for my bracket. Of course, I've won our bracket pool like 2 out of the last 5 years, and then my mom won last year. Shout out to her. So I'll drop a video on that. That'll be fun. Shout out to BetUS. You can also bet on the Blazers to lose against any good teams if they're missing players. They won't cover the spread. Well, I guess they probably did against Cleveland, but I don't know. A game like this tonight, man, I kind of had a feeling coming in like they're going to find a way to screw up this game. Did you have that same feeling too, Eric? Or is that just our pessimism? Like, did chat feel the same way? I don't know. Going into this game, it was like, wow, this is a very winnable game. Watch them blow it.
I was more like, there's no way they lose this, right? There's no way, right?
Oh, man.
And then I saw them play in the first few minutes. So I was like, oh, we're going to be in trouble here.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's get caught up on donations.
We have a donation?
There are several.
Oh, hell yeah. Love that. Shout out to Wes Davison, $5 donation. I just brought up the feed. Says, oh no, we suck again. Just an all-around ugly performance in a game we should have probably won. Absolutely, Wes. Thank you for the donation. Sorry I didn't see it earlier. Your guys' donations make our lives better, make us happy. When we deserve some sort of happiness with this team. Shout out to Brandon Lee. Or maybe we don't deserve any happiness. I don't know. Shout out to Brandon Lee, $5 donation. Says, freak off Chauncey Billups. Thank you, Brandon.
Did you watch his post-game press conference, Brandon?
Brutal. I only heard one quote that he said, and it's brutal. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Antonio, member for 2 months, says, Cronin deserves blame for allowing him to coach. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Burt Cold would say, no, you got to keep Chauncey. It's just a mess. It's a mess from the top down.
I mean, Chauncey did help them tank the last couple of years, and then, I think they thought it was going to be more of the same this year, and just got kind of stuck in the middle. But yeah,
Gage says, "Wait, was Scoot in foul trouble? Why didn't he play more?" He had one foul. He had one foul. And honestly, he started this game kind of rough. He was going off in the third quarter. Going off. And, Chauncey's a Scoot hater, apparently. And didn't like it. So decided, you know what? Your ass is getting put on the bench. Oh, I'll sub you back in with 5 minutes left. All right, yeah, we'll finish this game with you. We'll see if you can. Nope, just kidding. Just messing with you. Back to the bench you go. Like, I think it's even worse that he subbed him in for like 45 seconds, Eric.
Yeah, right.
Like, why? Why? You subbed him back in for 45 seconds for what? Like, you might as well just bench him the rest of the game if you're gonna be a dumbass. You're almost trolling him. You're trolling us. There's no way you're for real with that. No way you're for real with that. You cannot be serious. Taylor says, Scoot made the critical mistake of being coached by Billups this game, and he needed to sit for that. Yeah, that was his mistake.
How dare he have to run an offense through a Chauncey Billups system and then get punished for it?
Bro, if they bring Chauncey back next year, I might cry. I'm kidding, but not really. I can't imagine. I can't imagine doing another year of this. Colt says, offense wasn't even the worst part. Zone against a 5-out offense. Yeah, dude, Eric, I forget what point of the game it was in, but we were starting to go on a run. And then Chauncey switches to a zone and gives up the most wide open 3 in the corner. I forget who it was to. But it was basically like, yeah, we're going on a run. Time to run zone. Here's a wide open 3. Yeah. Like, why, dude? You'd be better off just doing nothing and just sitting back and sitting down and putting your hands in your pockets. Why are you switching to a zone against a 5-out lineup?
There was also a play, I don't know if it was the same player or what right after that, but 3 of the players thought they were in zone and 2 of them didn't. And it was we gave up an open shot. Yes.
Yeah. Landon says, someone said DA was trash, and he said the only reason DA's stats were down was because he was anchoring the defense and focusing on the little things. Yeah, you gotta love some of the narratives, man. You gotta love some of the narratives. Brendan Houligard says, I try so hard to stay positive with this team. I love these guys. I'm running out of ways to stay positive. These last few games have really crushed my spirit. I never thought I'd be begging for DA. DA would not fix any of this.
He'd get his shots up. He would have.
Yeah, maybe he'd help our offense, but he ain't helping our defense, man. He's not good on the perimeter or the interior or defending the pick and roll. And if Chauncey's running a scheme where the big is supposed to stay in the paint on every perimeter pick and roll and then they make jumpers, that's not the big man's fault. People just say, Klingon can't get out fast enough. It's no, we've seen Chauncey do this with DA where he just runs super duper drop scheme and has them 10 feet below the level of the screen against teams that can shoot. That's a Chauncey problem. That's not the big. And the thing is I think sometimes Klingon does a better job contesting perimeter jumpers than Ayton does. How many times have we seen Ayton this year, kind of close to an offensive player shooting a 3, but he doesn't even get a hand up. He just kind of watches them and turns around and then doesn't even box out and just watches the ball come off the rim.
I have one thing to ask. Anyone, anytime you see anyone even say DeAndre Ayton is an average defender or a decent defender, okay? Ask them one simple question. Why would Joe Cronin say the number one priority in the offseason was getting rim protection and a defensive center? Why would he state that after drafting, using your number 7 pick on that very thing? Why would we do that, use that asset, and covet that in terms of what this was like the number one thing we needed to fix our defense or help fix it was was getting rim protection. Yet you want to argue this guy's anchoring our defense and stuff? Like, that's just silly, man. Like, just actions speak louder than words. The Blazers clearly set out to find rim protection this summer and did not believe DeAndre Ayton was the guy who could anchor their defense. So I don't want to hear anyone try to convince me that anything is different than that. What they purposely did this offseason to tell you that it wasn't good enough with DeAndre Ayton.
Yep. And also, here's the thing, Brendan. Like, why try so hard to be positive? That's exhausting. Like this team will either give you reasons to be positive or give you reasons to be negative. They will give you a reason to feel the way you feel. Like, I think some people try too hard to be positive. Because it's like I don't know, there's this mindset that like if you're a fan of a team, you have to support them no matter what in terms of every single thing they do. You have to be happy with it. And you have to accept it. They can be terribly ran, man, but you know what? It's your team, so you got to be happy with that. Like, no, man. No, like I was hopeful that, all right, fine, you want to go for a play-in, that's the only thing left to root for because their lottery odds are not going to be good. Like, all right, fine, let's go for it. I was there with you. I was like, all right, fine, let's go for it. You got great opportunities. You played 3 tough teams that on your schedule you would have written in a loss for, and they all were missing their best player. And then the last 2 games, you only faced 2 of the 10 starters on those teams. And that was Jaylen Brown and, Al Horford? Like, okay. The Celtics are missing 3 stars. They were missing 5. Great opportunity. You could actually, if you just win like 2 of these 3 games, like you probably should have beaten the Celtics. You probably should have guarded Peyton Pritchard or Derek White a little bit better. I know they hit some really tough shots, but they had some open ones too. Like, you win 2 of these 3 games, you're only 2 games back of the play-in right now. Then we're like really talking about it because Dallas is super injured. But instead, you're still 4 games back. You can't even gain any ground. I mean, we're talking about a Dallas team that had 31 off the bench from Brandon Williams today. Yes, that Brandon Williams, ex-Portland Trail Blazer, 2-way player Brandon Williams. Did you see that, Eric? You're muted, by the way.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he had 31 and was a +5 in 34 minutes against the Grizzlies. But that's who they're playing right now. But yeah, you're not even getting any ground. Phoenix is a train wreck. They're down 19. It's like you're being gifted the play-in that everybody wants on a freaking golden platter. All these tough teams you're supposed to face, they're all missing their best players. The Dallas Mavericks are like the most injured team in sports right now. And you got Phoenix, who's an absolute train wreck, who has the hardest schedule the rest of the league. It's like, it's literally, the situation is like, here Portland, here's the 10th seed, serve it up on a platter, you just got to grab it. And then as Portland goes to grab it, somehow they trip, fall on their face, knock themselves out. So, yay. It's cool.
Yep. Life of a Blazer fan, right? Man, I don't think it's what you're saying to Brendan. I don't think it's like hard to be positive. Like, that's fine if you want to do that, and it's not like it takes extra effort to be positive, unless you're like trying to make excuses for the team. But if you're just like generally a positive guy, I have no issue with that. But I see people think the opposite for us. There are those people who are just like miserable and try to think of the worst situation for everything or whatever. And
think of us anymore.
And they all but I mean there are people who go through life like it's hard. It must be really hard being that negative, and people think that's what we're like. We don't want to be negative. Like, we want to be positive. We want to be talking about how, like you just mentioned, we're only 2 games out of the 10th seed. Like, we might do this. Like, let's
But we're going to
go.
hold this team to a standard that we
Right.
feel is fair. We're not going to lower that standard just to try and be positive or just ignore the standard we set when they don't meet it. If they don't meet it, we'll explain what's wrong and what we think is wrong. And listen, we can disagree on the details of that, but that's what it is. It's like it's this show. We analyze things, we debate things, we talk about narratives, we talk about, the future, we talk about the CBA, we talk about trades. Like that's what this show is. So the show is not designed to just sit here and sugarcoat everything and say like, "Hey guys, we just lost to a team that's a contender," when they're trotting out a lineup without a single starter, and we lose by 18. So, there's other shows for that. That's not what this is. It's not what this is. But Eric, it's been more than a calendar month at this point since the Blazers have beaten a team that's not tanking. Do you realize that?
Yeah, what, February 6th or something, right?
Yeah, that's the day of the trade deadline. Since then, since then, the Blazers have played 12 games. 12 games. They are 5-7. Their 5 wins came against Charlotte, Utah, Washington, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia. Right? Utah, they beat by 2. Washington was a close game. They won by 8. At least you won, I guess. But the 7 teams they've faced that aren't tanking, they've lost every single game. Every single game. And 6 out of those 7 losses were by double digits. The only one that wasn't, they lost by 8 to the Lakers. But of course, the Lakers in that game didn't have Luka Doncic. So, the last 4 times we've played a team that's not tanking, they've been without their best player, or for Luka, it's Luka and LeBron, right?
Yeah.
And you still lost all of them.
Nice.
So, that's the reality of the situation. That 10 out of 11 game streak, you beat a lot of solid teams that weren't tanking. Okay? Since then, this team has been basically kind of what they were earlier in the season.
Also, I mentioned this last stream, but
you're forgetting Cleveland. Oh yeah, we won by, we only lost by single digits against Cleveland. So 5 out of the 7 losses, we lost by double digits.
Yeah,
good point. But Cleveland also missing the best player. So
right. I mentioned this last stream, but Chauncey already saying that they ran out of gas on this road trip. How are they going to have any energy to play a back-to-back on Sunday and Monday? They have to they get home late tonight. They're going to go to bed, have one day, then they have to play again Sunday, and then get on a plane that night to go to Golden State and play the Warriors with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. Or maybe if you're the Warriors, you sit both of those guys and get an automatic W. But, how are we going to have any energy for a back-to-back on Sunday and Monday now?
Also, can you say that Chauncey quote again, Eric? Because it's ridiculous. Can you say it again?
That we ran out of gas?
Yeah. Who is the guy who brought you the most energy in the second half? Whose energy sparked your comeback? It was Scoot, and you benched him the final 9 minutes. So don't give me this, we just ran out of gas. The one dude that was playing with a ton of energy in the second half, you freaking benched him the last 9 minutes. So no, that doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. You literally benched the player playing with the most energy just to sit here and say, we ran out of energy. Also, Grant has been out for how long? Yeah, I guess he was rusty. But it's he's missed a few games. He should be fresher. It's just I'm tired of the BS excuses that are made, especially when it's coming from the coach. You should not be sitting here we want to go get a play-in, but, we're fine with this loss. We just didn't make shots and, just ran out of energy, ran out of gas. And it's just a mediocre mindset. It's a mediocre mindset. especially when your offense couldn't manufacture a good shot the entire game. And you're coming out there and saying that. A real coach would come out here and say, yeah, our offense wasn't good enough. We didn't do a good enough job manufacturing shots. That's on me. No. Anyway. Is there anything else you want to recap this game with? Because
I just wish someone would have asked him why it seemed like he took Scoot out when he was the only one generating offense.
But that would have been a tough question. And, it's the type of question I would have asked. A fair question. Very fair question. Okay? It's not an unprofessional question. That's a very fair question. That's a question I would have asked. But, we're too critical. They don't like that. They don't like that. We'll see if we get credentialed next season. We are maybe the biggest podcast out there, at least the biggest fan-made podcast ever out there. So, you think we would get, I don't know, a little bit of respect? No, we're too critical. All right. They will have gatherings with the top voices, fan voices, fan platforms, Twitter pages, that sort of thing, right? They'll have a community event. They won't invite us. They won't invite us, Eric. So, anyway.
It'll be hilarious.
What?
What if we, one of us secretly ran one of those pages and they invited us not knowing that was us?
That's what we need to do.
Because they don't know some of those people, right?
Yeah.
They don't know who those people are. Facts. They just reached out to Twitter. Yeah.
So I'm up in Washington, so 360 Blazer fans. That'll work. That will work, man. Oh, man. Anyway. It's good that we can still have fun and laugh on a post game like this, Feels good. That was good. To let it all out. Sometimes our streams are our own therapy sessions. Sometimes they're your therapy sessions too. Normally it's our collective group therapy. Slim. See, listen. You guys would see right through it though.
I mean, you're not going to be a jerk. But
yeah. I don't know. See, then the tough thing is to go in there with this reputation.
Yeah.
That we don't, we have it out for Joe or have it out for Chauncey. Even though the first half of Chauncey's tenure here, I was defending him, and I actually saw a screenshot from a couple years ago. Somebody saying they were going to stop watching the channel because I defended Chauncey too much, which is hilarious. Also had somebody recently say, Eric, that we argue too much. Mm-hmm. Which I've never gotten that complaint before. We agree on 98% of things. Which is just crazy. So, I don't know. We hear it all. It's whatever. Are you guys journalists? We are, define a journalist. Define a journalist. I'll tell you if we are or not. What if Tori becomes the very thing you swore to destroy? Yeah, I'm going to join the dark side. Hey, man. Yeah, there's one way. There's one way to stop all criticism. All right? We are the platform that will criticize the team. But just give me a credential, and you'll have no criticism anywhere. Everybody will be brainwashed. I'm joking. But also, maybe that's... Is that the meta, Eric?
Sure.
I'm just trolling.
Meta can be whatever you want it to be.
Oh, man. People should also realize I do troll a bit, all right? I do like to troll a little bit, all right? That's what I'm doing. I'm just trolling. Anyway, Alex says we need an Eric rant. Eric, can you at the snap of my fingers, can you go off?
Alex, you've been watching the show for a while. I will once again state that my rants are not manufactured. They're just natural times I get worked up and emotional as a Blazer fan. And so I am not just going to create a rant and be a Stephen A. Smith type because you want that. So I'm sorry that I'm not going to give you a rant.
We need you to get chewed out by LeBron courtside.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But
it would be Joe. It wouldn't be LeBron. The thing is, though, you guys are like the same size. LeBron was looking down on Stephen A. Nobody looks down on Mr. Eric Brandt, Big E.
He is like 3 inches taller than me, so.
He's not 6'9".
LeBron?
Oh, no, I was talking about, the person that would chew you out.
Oh.
Because it wouldn't be LeBron, it would be...
You mean Cronin?
Yeah, I said it.
Okay.
I started laughing. I started laughing. It was funny. I started laughing to play off the trolling that I'm doing. We got to do a mock draft. Let's get to it. Maybe I'll troll you with some picks. No, I won't. Probably not. So we do a tankathon, and then the tankathon order determines the mock draft. All right. Let me pop it up.
Unethical tanking, losing to an OKC team without their top 84 best players.
Why am I complaining? We are tied with San Antonio, but we've played 4 more games than them. 4 more games. We're only 2.5 back of 8th, Eric. The tank is back. The tank is back. The problem is Brooklyn and Philadelphia are not going to get to 28 wins. The ceiling is 8th right now. I'll take 8th best odds. I'll take 8th. Orlando is 11th? What happened, man? Oh, my. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right, let's simulate it. Let's scroll up. You got a lot of background noise or something? You're muting a lot.
Still going through coughing and sneezing.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
You've done a good job of hiding it because I haven't heard one single one. All right, 14, we got Atlanta. 13, we had Dallas. This is... When we do the mock draft off the Tankathon sim, these sims mean more. All right? So can we get Portland to move up? I don't know. I would be cool with them not moving up because then that's a tough decision at 10 for whoever's drafting there. And that would be fun. All right, 12 is Houston via Phoenix. 11 is Orlando. 10 is the Portland Trail Blazers. 9 is San Antonio. 8 is Chicago. 7 is OKC via Philadelphia. Wait, did I even spin it? 6 is Brooklyn. 5. I swear I spun it. No, because it's the tie. Yay, fake tankathon pump fake. I swear I spun it. I haven't done that all year. All right, simulate, scroll up. This time.
Maybe you did.
This time,
right.
no, because it didn't have the number.
Okay. Before you scroll up any further, do you want evens this time?
Who picked for the Blazers last time?
I think I did.
Chat, let us know. Whoever picked for the Blazers last time, the other person will pick. It's just how we'll do it, depending on where they picked.
I think I picked Queen last time, right?
Did you?
Or did I pick
sounds.
Newell? Did I pick Newell? I might have picked Newell.
As long as you picked, then I'll pick this time.
Yeah.
No matter where they're at.
Okay.
Watch them be number 1. 14 is Atlanta via Sacramento. 13 is Houston via Phoenix. Yeah, we definitely spun this one. Who was at 13? Is that Dallas?
Yeah, they get rewarded for being stupid.
Crazy. 12 is Orlando. 11 is your Portland Trail Blazers. 10 is San Antonio. 9 is, we're going to have to change a lot of picks. 9 is Chicago. 8 is Brooklyn. So Philadelphia and Dallas top 4. 7 is Toronto. 6 is New Orleans. And 5 is the Utah Jazz. So at least they don't get number 1. 4 is Dallas. 3 is Philadelphia. 2 is Charlotte. And 1 is the Washington Wizards. Alrighty. So pause at that part of the stream, Eric, and then you can just copy the pics. I'll put it up on the screen for a second. All right. That's what we got. And now we can copy it over. If you guys have never tuned in for a mock draft before or seen us do a mock draft before, me and Eric alternate picks, and I think we should put maybe a slight bit more emphasis on who we would pick with each of these picks. Just a little bit more than normal today is what I vote for.
Okay.
All right. We want to do a full draft. We want to... Oh, I have to log in to use a custom order. Chat, do you have any new sleepers? Do you have any prospects that you have looked into recently? Let us know. Let us know. Also, why won't Fanspo let me log in, man? It's broken. All right, there we go. All right, so we had Washington, Charlotte, Philadelphia, Dallas, who would be the most Nico Harrison guy to pick at 4 if he's trolling, just like he did with the Luka trade? Let me know, chat. Let me know. Five was Utah. I already know we're going to get one like Julian Newman answer. Pelicans or Raptors? That's the one thing that sucks about a crazy simulation. We got to switch it up a lot. 9, Chicago. 10, San Antonio. 11, Portland. 12, Orlando. 13, Houston. 14, Atlanta. 15, San Antonio. 16. All right. So the rest of the first round outside of the lottery is accurate, Eric. Which makes it very easy on us. So I can save that. Alrighty. You good to go?
Not yet.
So I get odds.
Okay. Oh, that's what.
All right. Alrighty. Time to start the draft for me. All right, the number 1 pick, I'm going to take Augustus Marshallonis. All right, Cooper Flag, number 1. Number 2 is Charlotte. Interesting. Actually, this is really interesting to see what you're going to do. But also with the latest rumors.
Yeah. I'm not ready yet. Hold on.
They take Bailey here. I would hate that for Charlotte. I'll let Eric pick, and then I'll say what I would do this offseason. Chat, what would be the Tory thing to do for the Hornets this offseason? What would be the Tory GM thing to do? You said Tory, he's the perfect Hornet player. Yeah. Can't deny that. Cannot deny that.
All right, Cooper Flag 1.
Who are you taking number 2?
All right, so if I am Charlotte, I am getting rid of LaMelo Ball. I am trying to get the best compensation for him and building my team around Harper, Brandon Miller, etc. So I'm taking Dylan Harper.
Wow, you guessed the Tory thing to do. Nice.
I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, chat didn't get it, though. All right, we got the Sixers at 3. Oh, man. I don't think Ace Bailey helps them win next year. Or the next couple of years if they're trying to win. Also, I have VJ Edgecombe above Ace Bailey. I think you just take Edgecombe. I think maybe you can get away with some 3-guard lineups. And then, I don't know, Jared McCain had some good moments as a rookie, but then got injured. You could run a 3-guard lineup with him, Maxey, and McCain, and probably start Edgecombe. I think they need like a point of attack defender too on the perimeter. So I'm going to take VJ Edgecombe for Philadelphia. All right, Eric, you're up with Dallas at number 4. And you're muted.
All right. Man,
So number 4 is Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going to make a surprise pick here.
Ooh.
I just like, as much as I like Ace Bailey, I think Dallas is a pretty good fit for him, but you already have a lot of similar players that can shoot already. I am starting to really believe in this guy as more of a star than maybe we thought possibly earlier this season.
I know who you're picking.
I'm going to take Trey Johnson.
Yeah. I put Trey Johnson above Ace Bailey too, so I respect it. We got, wrong page. There we go. Trey Johnson, number 4 to Dallas, to pair him with Kyrie. Well, not Kyrie next year. He's going to be out for a bit. But yeah, they kind of need a star scorer, right? They got a lot of defense now, so Trey Johnson. Who would be the trolley Nico Harrison big brain pick?
I don't know if he necessarily does that in a draft pick,
But like if he did in a draft pick. Colin Murray Boyles. There you go. All right, 5 is Utah. Oh, man. I don't know if I like Ace Bailey for Utah. They need upside. He has upside. Cody Williams is kind of a safer type of player they drafted last year. I think at some point they're just going to have to gamble on somebody that could be their star player. So, yeah, I'll take Ace Bailey number 5 for Utah.
All right.
Look at the starting small forward for the Pelicans on Fanspo. It's James Nunnally. You remember James Nunnally?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Wow, okay.
All right, 6 is the Pelicans.
I think I'm just gonna. I know there's a lot of talk about them trading Zion, but like when he's healthy, I just think it's too much of a if we trade him and he just stays healthy, it's gonna look really bad type of thing. So I think Yakuchonis gives me a pretty good uh, big guard to get him the ball, and yeah, so I'm drafting Yakuchonis.
Alrighty. Number 7 is Toronto. And this pick actually is really easy because they got... I don't know. They're not as defensive-minded as they used to be. You got a fun young core. You need a big. You don't have a young big man you're building around. Although they do have Shamshe. So.
Yeah, man.
But outside of him, you got Derek Queen on the board. I mean, he's the best player, position of need in their rebuild. I think that's a very easy pick. Derek Queen's 7. And then you got Brooklyn at 8. And I need to bring up my big board.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Are you on no ceilings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now we enter the tier that's all very even, so I'm going to just base like team fit and style of play off of this heavily.
Yeah. So I would think about a big here, but you got Claxton, you've got Daron Sharp's been playing well, you got Clowney. So I don't know if Newell really fits what they have right now. So I am just going for star upside here and taking Jeremiah Fears, who's been playing better again lately.
Alrighty, number 9, we got Chicago. So, my mindset for this Chicago pick is like they're at the start of what is going to be a long rebuild. You got Buzelis as a young player. You got Josh Giddey, I guess, if it's the young core. I don't think they're going to draft their like future number 1 guy here. I don't think they're going to get him here, and I think chasing that type of guy here would be a mistake when you're going to have multiple years where they're probably drafting at the top of the draft. So what I'm going to do for Chicago, first you trade Vucevic, and then you just draft somebody that has a very high floor that you're very confident will at least be a starting caliber player that can be productive on both sides of the floor. So I'm going to take Kaman Maluach there to be their long-term center, their Vucevic replacement, and I'm very confident that he'll at least be a starting caliber big man and like a top 15 big man at some point. And, in a rebuild, he'll have the chance to explore his offensive game too. So I like him for Chicago at 9.
All right.
All right, at 10 you got San Antonio, and Derek has already taken his full minute.
All right, I'm gonna
Just
take
kidding.
yeah. Well, I really contemplating taking someone just to see what you would do at 11 without this guy on the board. But I think at this point, not necessarily concerned about Wemby, but I do think pairing him with an active big like Asian Newell would be good, and so I'm gonna take Newell.
All right. Which guy was like the guy that you think I'm going to take that you were going to take off
Well,
the board?
it was just a guy we always joke about Portland.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Chat, let me know who you would take for the Portland Trailblazers here at 11. I'm I have no idea if that's who I want to take, though. We got one McNeely. I'm going to take a little bit longer just because of the Blazers pick.
Fine.
You got Knipple. Who would you take here for Portland?
No, I'm not telling you.
I mean, I'm not going to base my pick off yours.
No, come on. You got this.
Well, no, it's not that I don't have this. It's that
No, I know.
I'm deciding between like 4 different guys.
Yeah.
Is the problem here.
I don't want to give you my input. How about that, man?
All right, you can give it after I make this pick. You need shooting. You want upside. I just don't think they're going to get their upside here. I just don't think they're going to get it here. And I think with the backcourt playing better, you don't have to desperately chase it if there's not the right guy here. Yegor high upside maybe. Yeah, but that's the problem is like chasing the upside. He doesn't really fit what the Blazers need, and it'd be tough to give him a role that he could develop in, and like he might not play next year. So you're losing a year of development and reps if the Blazers are going for a playoff spot. Like I don't think they play Yegor Demon if he doesn't have what they need. So it's like you're looking for somebody that can play right away potentially because at least they'll get minutes, maybe provide a need for this young core. And I mean, that's just shooting. It's literally just shooting. And so it's McNeely or Knipple. Because nobody else, I mean, maybe Rasheer Fleming, but he's kind of 3-and-D. I'd rather have somebody that I trust to be a little bit more of a volume 3-point shooter with some of the playmaking and all that. So I gotta go Knipple here. I do think he's a good fit with the core at this pick. So that's who I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Colin Knipple.
All right.
Do I feel great about it? No. But I wouldn't have felt great about any pick there at 11.
Yep. Could have taken our next Chris Murray, Colin Murray Boyles.
I'm not going to go that far. I think Murray Boyle's a better prospect than that. He moves a lot better, at least. And defense. His defense could be elite, man. Yeah, I know. I've just been feeling like I have him too far underrated. That's all I'll say. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the Magic are up next, and they need some playmaking, some sort of offensive creator type. And, they've used a pick in this range on a shooter and Howard that hasn't really materialized yet. And so I would think about taking someone you just passed on like McNeely here, but ultimately I think Cam Jones running the offense gives this team the best chance of a boost. So I would take Cam Jones here.
Alrighty, 13, we got the Houston Rockets. What do the Rockets need? Nothing right away. I mean, they could maybe use another shooter, but they have so much depth at so many positions, they should go for a more long-term play that can step in once they consolidate some of that depth. Because, like, Rasheer Fleming wouldn't make sense. You got Jabari Smith, you got Tari Eason. Like, what? Where are you going to play Rasheer Fleming? Same thing for Colin Murray-Boyles. I think here's a good spot to just take a swing on Yegor Demon, somebody that could play multiple positions potentially, that's going to need some time to develop, but has that upside. And at this point, it's like, why would you draft somebody that's just going to be another role player? You have a ton of good role players. You might as well just swing. So that's what I'm going to take for Houston.
Who would you say?
Yegor Demon.
All right. Sounds good.
Who would you have taken at 11 for Portland, by the way? You never answer that.
I might have taken Fleming, but I don't. It's really close for me between McNeely and Knipple. I don't have an issue either way. I would have had a tough decision with it.
Like those two and Fleming is who you would have debated?
Probably, yeah.
Alrighty, so at 14 you got the Atlanta Hawks. They also have the 27th pick. Whenever you're ready. Hello?
Coughing, but hold on, sorry. They just traded away DeAndre Hunter. They got Jalen Johnson, so they have some playmaking. There's several guys I would consider here. I'm gonna take Rasheer Fleming for them.
Alrighty. Rasheer Fleming. Alright, 15, we got the San Antonio Spurs. They took Asa Newell, which means I don't want to go big again. Alright, here's where I take Hugo Gonzalez, second pick. I think he makes sense as a second pick. I think he's kind of a Spurs player. Some depth on the wing. I assume he comes over right away. You're going to have to weed out some of that wing depth to get him minutes, but, I mean, it's crazy kind of that they still have Keldon Johnson, haven't traded him yet. So it's going to be tough to get him playing time right away, but he's more of a long-term piece anyway. So I'm going to take Hugo there. And then you got the Thunder with back-to-back picks, Eric. So. What's up?
Oh, so I was kind of thinking of doing something here, so then you can take the person that makes more sense in a minute if you want.
Do some. Are you going to put...
Yeah.
Unless it's Sturts, because we already know you love Sturts. I'm ready to be shook. Shake me.
I do think there's some guards here that they could take. And if they're just taking best player available, that's fine. But I also... I think a guy like this just, if he doesn't work out, I know Ousmane Dieng killed us tonight, but if he's the next Ousmane Dieng, fine. It didn't work out. But, if it hits, you look like a magician again. And so I'm going to take Carter Bryant here.
That's not even... I thought you were going to go more bold. All right. I like the pick a lot. I just thought you were gonna shock me even more.
It seems a little high, but yeah.
No, I'd see a lot of mid first for him. I have him around here on my board anyway. I do like that pick for them. All right, 17. I think this is maybe the best spot for this guy, right? They have a really good defense. They have all this shooting. They got a stretch five in Chet Holmgren. They really value smart players that can make the right pass, make the right play, and play really hard. I think Colin Murray Boyles is actually a really good fit for the Thunder. I love his fit next to Chet. I think that's the type of team that can work around CMB's weaknesses potentially. They're really good with small ball fives anyway, small ball lineups. So CMB it is. All right, Eric, you got Utah at 18.
All right, Utah took Ace Bailey earlier. So there's a number of different directions they could go here.
Yeah, Eric Olson, he is on the board still. I don't think I like him for my next team though.
All right, I am gonna go with. I'm gonna go with someone Tori hates. So I'm gonna take Ben Seraph.
Ew. I hate him for Utah, especially.
Well, like you said, they're not. They're trying to build out their roster with these picks.
I mean, like, you might as well just hang on to. I don't know. Because don't you view him as a point guard?
I think they can play either spot, but yeah, bigger ball.
I just think if they have Ace Bailey at the 3, Cody Williams at the 2, Keontae George, Isaiah Collier at the 1. I don't know. Yeah. I will always hate on Ben. I don't know why I don't like Ben Seraph, man. I don't think he's that good. I do not get the vibes. We'll see if the vibe check is wrong. Yeah. Unless you slide Bailey up to the 4 and Cody Williams up to the 3 and play Seraph at the 2.
I don't think maybe.
I mean, you wouldn't start Seraph right away, but like
maybe Cody's not the answer either. So
yeah. All right, 19. I got Minnesota. They could use a long-term replacement for Rudy Gobert. They could use somebody with some legitimate upside. Because ultimately it's like you probably need a little bit more upside on this team. They like length. They like length that it has some versatility offensively. They like defense. I'm going to take Magoon Gwath here at 19 for Minnesota. I feel like that's a Minnesota type of guy right there.
All right. He's down at 51.
Yeah. Too low.
All right, 20. We got the Miami Heat entering the fray.
Eric Olson, I would have taken Wolf, but like they have Naz Reid. It just feels a little duplicative. All right, so Miami actually has a first-round pick. That was in the lottery when they traded Jimmy Butler, and now it's all the way down to 20. So who are you taking?
Try
and think about your next pick when I'm on the clock, if possible.
Screw it, I'm taking Bennett Sturts.
Bennett Sturts, is he even on the board, though?
No.
So who are we taking in his place?
We are taking...
Sam Walters?
There's like a B one with the...
Well, I'll just leave a note on it.
Let's take Ben Humrichis.
Oh, I was going to draft him.
No, you weren't.
How do you know I wasn't?
Because you
I'm not going to take Sam Walters, are you?
no.
Okay, let's take Sam Walters. They really need to update their players.
Yeah.
All right. Bennett starts at 20 for Miami. Nice. All right, 21 is Indiana. Danny Wolf is falling too far, but also I don't like... Danny Wolf fits them, but also I feel like they need a more defensive 5-man. They should definitely go with the 5-man. Bro. I mean, this is a tough one. I'm going to take Maxime Reynaud. Projects, I think, a little better defensively than Danny Wolf and can still do some versatile offensive things. So,
all right. So I'm with Brooklyn. They took Jeremiah Fears earlier.
Yep.
I think I'm just going to go always need shooting. McNeely's still on the board here at 22. I think that's a pretty safe pick, so I'm going to take McNeely.
All right, and I think this dude has fallen too far. Just didn't really like his fits beforehand because I also got Brooklyn at 23. I'm going to take Jace Richardson, pair him up in the backcourt, maybe with Jeremiah Fears. Size might be a little bit of an issue. But Fears is listed as 6'4", so you're just going for some shooting there and figure it out later. All right.
Nice.
Jace Richardson could be a really good 6-man down the line. I think might be the best role, actually. So, all right, 24, we got Washington, Eric.
All right, Washington at 24. I'm going to take
25, I got Brooklyn again. Boring.
I'm gonna take sorry to do this to Tori, but I think this guy would fit in well with what they're building. They have some defensive length, and so getting a kind of a connector at the center position, I'm gonna take Danny Wolf for them.
No, that's a good fit for him. He's fallen too far anyway. And I wasn't going to put him on Brooklyn, although McNeely, Richardson, Fierce, and Wolf would be interesting combination, man. Interesting combination. I mean, we're just going for upside. You drafted a point guard, a combo guard, well, 2 combo guards, and like a small forward. So you might as well go for somebody that can play the 4 with some upside. Just best player available, and that's Noah Asengwe, however you say his name.
Sengu, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it differently, so there you go. He's at 25. All right, 26 is Orlando. They took Cam Jones at 12.
All right, so Orlando's back up. You kind of took, or we've drafted most of the center depth, so they're kind of probably frustrated that there's not.
Yeah, they could just get one outside of the draft though. If they
Right. I'm just gonna go for like some players that I think could play in their system right away. So I'm gonna go with Nate Clifford here.
All right, Nate Clifford. All right, 27. You might trade Trae Young. You might not. You might as well get somebody that could maybe replace him if he pans out well, or could maybe play next to him if he pans out well. And that player for me, especially since Kobe Buffkin can't get healthy, I think this is kind of like replaces what they were hoping Buffkin could be, a little bit different player. But I'm going to take LeBaron Philon.
All
right, 28 is Boston.
All right, Boston is sitting here thinking um, that this guy was thought of to be much higher a lot of the off season, and then has seen his draft prospects fall. But I think get him in your system and recoup some of his upside, and that's Nolan Traore.
Nice. Recoup some upside like Cliff Alexander. Nice. No, I like Traore for him. Good long-term backup to Peyton Pritchard, who's the next Jalen Brunson, apparently. All right, 29 is the Clippers. They need some big man depth, but I'm not a Sorber fan. Broom has some translatability questions. I'm going to take a big man that could back up Zubac, but also provide something different and also has some skill. I'm going to take my guy, Alex Condon, who recently had a 27-point game. Has been looking really good.
He's not on there, right?
Nope. The player I have on my big board in his place is Caleb Love. Neither of us are drafting Caleb Love, correct?
Very close in terms of profile.
Well, yeah, could be more opposite. All right, yeah, Caleb Love. All right, but actually Alex Condon at 29. Alex Condon. That's a Tory sleeper right there. All right. 30 is Phoenix, Eric.
I mean, who knows if this guy stays in the draft or goes back after getting hurt, but 30th pick, chance to get a star upside point guard still. I'm just gonna take Boogie Flan and hope he pans out.
I like it if they're gonna rebuild, or maybe rebuild around Booker. If they keep Durant, though, I don't know. Was there anybody NBA ready in your opinion? And not really. Yeah, that's a good pick. Okay. Boogie Fland. All right, 31 is Boston. They took Nolan Traore. Who's a Boston type of pick? This dude just feels like a Celtics player for some reason. Horford's getting up there in age. Porzingis has some injury issues. They could go for like a somewhat skilled big that maybe has some sneaky upside, especially for a team that really knows how to develop players. I'm going to take Axel Lendeborg. 31 to Boston.
That's what I would have taken for that.
Nice. Bang. We like it.
You're not showing the draft?
Oh, I'm not?
You're just showing us. Yeah.
Damn. All right, there we go.
Eric also should have told you.
Yeah, nobody told me. Chat.
Man. All right, I got the Hornets. They got Dylan Harper earlier. They traded LaMelo Ball for 18 first-round picks.
It's a lot of firsts, man.
Yeah.
People are listening to this like it's a podcast. Nice.
I'm going to take Miles Bird for them.
All right, Miles Bird off the clock. Got Minnesota at 33. They took Magoon Gwath at 19. Magoon Gwath. Is there anybody obvious? I'm tempted to do something that would be shocking. Because I kind of like this player for them. And at this point, I'm just drafting for fit. and I don't love anything on the board. Should I do something shocking, Eric?
Yes.
Who do you think my shocking pick is going to be if you had to guess?
I have no idea.
Damn, really? You don't even have a guess, huh?
Dink pay. I don't know.
No, not Dink Paint. Not Dink Paint. Ideally, you'd trade down and get this guy. But since we're not doing trade downs, I think they need more playmaking and somebody that maybe has some decent size as a playmaker. Conley's up there in age. Dillingham's kind of a scorer, right? So somebody that can make some plays, like secondary playmaker type. I'm gonna take Zion James. I like Zion James as somebody that could come in and play a role right away. Alrighty.
Where is he on here?
Are you shocked, Eric?
No, I know you like Zion.
I liked Zion last year, and he didn't declare. When he was coming out of Tulane, went to Duke. He's been a really good role player for them, just a good connective piece and shooting a decent three ball. So I feel like he's going to be one of those like 50th picks that ends up being a solid role player and sticking in the league for a while. He's like, it's alphabetical after a certain point. So he was like 113.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah. All right. 34 is Charlotte. They took Dylan Harper and Miles Bird.
I know this is going to be another pick you hate. I'm just going to take Sorber here. And,
I have no problems with Sorber at 34. I actually have him 36 on my board. So
I think that's a pretty good draft so far for them.
Yep. 35, we got Detroit. They could draft a bunch of different things here. I mean,
first pick of the draft for them.
Yeah, which is always weird. They could use some shooting, especially at a forward position. Go ahead.
I would say there's a perfect player to fit with their like non-shooting defensive wings that you've liked in the past.
Yeah, are you talking about Will Riley?
No.
Oh, who are you talking about?
I do.
Oh, yeah, because he also can't shoot.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just
yeah. No. I think Will Riley provides a nice contrast: shooting, playmaking, size. You can take the time to develop them. You got a young core, and you got players at some positions already, and we'll have some cap space to round out your rotation, right? So you don't have to rely on him right away. But he kind of reminds me a little bit of Keyshawn George when he was coming out of Miami, and he's had some good moments his rookie year. So I'm going to take Will Riley for them at 35. I think that's good value.
All right.
36, you got Philadelphia. They took Edgecombe at 3.
Where's the others? 48. Just trying to find him. All right. 70.
And then I got Brooklyn again. I don't want to draft for freaking Brooklyn again.
I think they found something last year with the same archetype. I don't think he has the same playmaking ability that McCain has, but they always could use shooting. And so I value this guy as just an absolutely lights-out sharpshooter, and that's Isaiah Evans.
Okay. Isaiah Evans. Yeah, I'm big enough to play the 3 because that makes sense since they have Edgecombe and McCain and Maxey. So, yeah, that's solid. All right, Isaiah Evans, 36. 37 is freaking Brooklyn. Again.
Phoenix and Denver in overtime.
Wow, Phoenix came back? Again? I can't believe Phoenix came back again. I mean,
their refusal to die.
I don't know much about this guy, but I know he's regarded in this range, and I want to draft a stash guy that is also a 5, so I'm going to draft Joan Behringer.
That's a good pick. I keep forgetting about him because I didn't keep...
Yeah, I need to I need to look into him more. Oh, I already know my next pick. All right, who are you taking at 38 with Sacramento? This is their first pick.
Sacramento's first pick on the board. All right.
Yeah, I already know my next pick.
I'm gonna take Xavier Lee.
Xavier Lee. Alrighty. Xavier Lee. Actually, I'm debating between two players here.
All right.
They took Hugo. Actually, I changed my mind of who I'm going to take. So you got Newell, you got Hugo. You could go for a 3-4. You got Fox as a point guard now. You're kind of fine there. Actually, you could take De La Rhea. De La Rhea. Actually, I changed my mind again. That's who I'm going to take. I'm going to take Sergio De La Rhea for them. Big enough to maybe play next to Fox if he pops long term. Maybe you stash him for roster spots as your third pick. So, yeah, that's who I'm going to take. Has some upside, I think. And, yeah, he's not on the board. On my board, I have him as Matthew Cleveland.
Okay.
If that's who we'll take. We could also use Michael Ajayi because he's been freaking terrible this year. I don't know what happened, man.
Turning on your own, man.
Dude, have you seen him?
Yeah.
Here.
I haven't been able to watch many.
Well, you can just look up his stats, all right? I'll tell you right now why you make this 40th pick for the Toronto Raptors. They took Derek Queen at 7. Yeah, so last season, Michael Ajayi, playing in the same conference, playing for Pepperdine, he averaged 17 points per game, 10 boards, and shot 47% from 3. This year for Gonzaga, he's averaging 7 points, 5.5 boards, and shooting 19% from 3. How do you go from shooting 47% from 3 to 19% from 3? And it's not like he didn't shoot threes. He shot a 3.5 per game last year, but he shot 2.5 threes per game last year, 47%, and this year it's down to 19%, Eric. Like, I don't get it. Anyway. Who are you taking at 40 for Toronto?
I'm going to take Andrei Stojakovic.
Where's he at?
54 on.
All right, Stojakovic. 41, we got Orlando. They took Cam Jones and Nick Clifford. Who's a bold Tory sleeper? I like that player, but not for this team. I mean, they took... If you want some center depth, some big man depth, I think you just... And they can take a flyer on one because if Wagner comes back, they got Wendell Carter Jr. I'll take a flyer on Zakarski here for Orlando at 41.
Where is Rocco?
Like 53.
All right.
You can just go to centers and draft them. Yeah. 42 is OKC. They took Carter Bryant and Colin Murray Boyles. So basically guys with the initials of CB. We got CB, we got CMB.
Oh, man. Who am I going to find with those initials?
That's a good question.
All right.
Coleman Hawkins is close.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
This guy. All right. I am just going to shoot for upside and maybe even a stash player, but I'm going to take Johan Grunlow.
Grunlow.
He's at 91. German center.
All right. 43. You got Washington. They got 2 more picks later, so maybe take somebody that you stashed for a year. You got Cooper Flag. You got Danny Wolf. You got phenomenal defense. You got Flag, Koulibaly, Sarr, long-term front court. Wolf off the bench is an offensive change of pace. I think you can go with like a 3-4 that plays defense. I think Noah Penda is a really good value here and kind of fits what they like in terms of 3-and-D, like somebody that has good positional size. So I'm going to take Noah Penda at 43 for them. All right, 44 is Golden State.
Yeah. Penda's a good pick for them.
All right.
All right, Golden State. I'm just going to take who I think is the best player left, and that's going to be Ian Jackson.
All right, Ian Jackson. 45, I got Utah. They took Ace Bailey. They took Ben Serif.
At what point would you draft Ben Serif if I just refused to draft him? Would he go undrafted?
You should have done it as a thought experiment. I mean, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, he's early second round on my board.
Right.
45, John Collins. You might trade him. Or I think he has a player option. You might opt out. Taylor Hendricks is hurt. Marketing, you going to keep him long term? I don't know. You go with a 4, just somebody who's productive. I'm going to take JT Toppin here. 45 for Utah. All right, 46 is Chicago. And then I got Utah again. Lovely. Just draft for the same teams over and over again.
All right, JT Toppin. All right. At this point, I'm just taking guys I like that still have some upside, in my opinion, and that guy is Josan Singh.
His shooting has fallen off a cliff, though.
It has, yeah. But I think it's come back around. He's a freshman. He'll figure it out. I like his form.
All right. God, dude. I want to draft for this bum team again. I'll just take I'm kind of tempted. Bethea is going to go back. Otherwise, I would maybe take him. He's been playing better. All right, let me just look up how this dude's playing. All right. All right, this might seem like a weird pick, but I feel like they kind of need a shooter. And I don't even know what to do with them at this point.
Yeah.
This is their 4th pick. I'm going to take Milan Momcilovic. Shooting 40% from 3, 6'8". Sophomore. Still young.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I have the Clippers. Who was Caleb Love again?
Alex Condon.
All right. Okay.
I'm saying to myself Catchings is going back and Powell's going back. Apparently DeVries is already confirmed to go back, is what I heard. So I'm not going to draft any of those 3.
Yeah. I'm going to take Hunter Salas for them.
All right. 49, we got Washington. I just drafted Penda for him. Flag, Wolf, Penda. They also have the 50th pick. It's the problem with mock drafts. You got a lot of teams with too many picks. Maybe next time we do a trade. Trade version.
All right.
You could use some scoring. Yeah, you could really use some scoring. You got a lot of guys that have some size. I'm going to take Walter Clayton. To be like combo guard, bench guard. Where's he at, though?
116.
Is he a point guard? No, he's a shooting guard. Yeah. All right, there we go. Walter Clayton. All right, 50, you got Washington now.
All right.
Wolf, Penda, Clayton.
I'm just going to take what I think is the best overseas prospect. Probably going to stash him. Bogle Jub Markovic.
Bogle Jub. Let's go. What number is he at?
He
69.
was
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, 51. I got Indiana. They got a lot of shooting. They could use some defense. They could use some athleticism. I think this is a steal at this point in the draft and a really good fit for them. I'm going to take Adu Thiero.
Okay.
52, you got Cleveland. First pick.
All right. Cleveland.
First of 2 picks.
I think.
Chauncey Murray Billups. I just read Arrow's comment. Did Phoenix lose, chat? Go ahead, Eric.
They were getting smoked in overtime. Janai Broom, I think, would add some good depth at big man for them this late in the draft. You just hope that some of his skills could translate, but you don't need him to be special because you have 2 bigs already.
Gotcha. Eric Olson, I actually, I would have liked Jameer Watkins a lot for Cleveland. I do like Broom too. Jameer Watkins might be my best player left on the board. Yeah, my second round is still very fluid though. You got Memphis. Memphis could use a shooter. Maybe you could use Luke Kennard's contract in a trade. Or no, he's a free agent, so he might leave. They got a lot of players that can play. I feel like they need more shooting. I'm going to take Kobe Brea.
I thought that's what you were going to take last time you said a shooter.
Yeah, I was looking at Milan.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
Who is that for? That was for Phoenix. I feel like Milan has a little bit more upside outside of the shooting, so that's why I liked him more for Utah. That's what I took him for Utah. I think Brea could be a good fit there for sure. Jokic ended with 31, 23, and 22. That's insane, bro.
I'm gonna take Alex Caravan for the Knicks.
Caravan.
Somebody could maybe.
We should have let him go undrafted.
I needed to. Holy crap!
Phoenix?
31, 23, and 22.
Yeah, it's crazy. Phoenix has a second round pick too. Okay, well this is the perfect spot for Jameer Watkins. If they're still trying to compete next year.
All right.
That's like the perfect play. If they're still have the same big 3 or whatever next year, Jameer Watkins is like the most perfect pick for them at 55. So yeah, that could come in, maybe play right away, help him defensively. All right. 56 is New York. You took Caravan with your last pick.
Hold up, I'm trying to find.
Are we saying Todd Pettiford's going back to school with Chad Baker Mazzara? Because apparently he still has a year of eligibility somehow. Even though he's 25.
I don't like this limit what we can draft.
I mean, you can draft whoever you want. I'm just saying,
So here I'm just looking for value, and I think even though you got McBride off the bench already, you've got Brunson starting obviously, but I think John Mobley's upside is too much to pass up here, so I'm gonna take John Mobley.
yeah. I mean, most of these guys also put on a two-way.
Yeah,
The Lakers, I mean, they need
Bronny James.
Bryce James. They need big man depth, and maybe somebody that could provide spot minutes next year at that position would be Ryan Kalkbrenner, who makes a lot of sense there. All right, 58 is Orlando. They took Zakarsky, Clifford, and Jones.
All right. Man. Man, oh man. I think this is a good spot for my guy Zvonimir.
All right. Zvonimir. All right, 59 is Houston. I am.
They got Yegor Demon in the first round.
Where's this guy at? I don't think he's here. All right. I'm going to take what's his, why am I blanking on his, I think I know his name. I just don't want to remember it. Yeah, cool. I'm going to take Amari Williams. Center depth, some skill behind Şengün, can pass a little bit, so can maybe use him a little similarly long term if he can play his way into being a backup. He's not on here, so I'm just going to take his teammate, Brandon Garrison, assuming that's who you're not taking. Next pick. All right, Amari Williams out of Kentucky for Houston. All right, 60th pick, Eric. Final pick of the draft. You got Cleveland. They took Janai Broom. If you're talking, you're muted.
Brandon Garrison. Okay.
You like my Amari Williams pick?
Yeah.
Nice.
Since he's not on there, I always forget about him. I
Yeah.
need to add to the thing. Yeah, so last pick, there's a couple ways I could go. I still believe in this guy. I know it might be stupid, but I think this would be a good place for him to learn behind Garland and
Lachlan
Donovan Mitchell, and that's Tyrese Proctor.
All right, Proctor. Yeah, we couldn't go a full mock draft without you drafting Proctor.
Yeah.
I feel like the last 2 years of mock drafts, you've always drafted Proctor
Yeah,
in
maybe.
probably every single one,
Probably.
which I respected. I just don't know if I've ever taken him. All right, that's our mock draft. You can view it on my I use this Fanspo account, Blazers Uprise Fanspo account. But yeah, that's our mock draft. Might drop a TikTok video tomorrow going through it as well. So make sure you follow us on TikTok, link in the description box below. That concludes our mock draft.
Good solid mock draft.
Yeah, fun little mock draft, and March Madness is going to be the perfect time to scout some of these prospects, to watch some college basketball, and of course to bet on some college basketball with BetUS. with the promo code YouTube150, 150% sign-up bonus, and then 2 125% bonuses up to $2,000. Check them out. Use them for March Madness. I'm looking forward to March Madness, man. It's one of the best times of year. So, going to be active on Twitter, tweeting about all the action. I think you got a lot of really good teams this year. I don't know how many 12-5s or 13-4 upsets you're going to have, but I think you're going to have 20 legitimate teams that maybe have a chance at making it to the championship game. You got, I think, a lot of top-end talent. Of course, you got some teams that are dominant, Duke, Auburn, but I think you have a lot of teams that are capable of beating them in a game. And that's what makes March Madness special. So check out BetUS if you want to know that action. Anything else, Eric?
Thank you everyone for watching, and thanks to all those that participated in chat. Appreciate you all. Hope to see you on Sunday, and hope everyone has a great weekend.
Yep, the mock draft was fun to watch that freaking taste out of our mouth because the Blazers lost by 18 tonight against a team missing their entire starting lineup. And, Scoot got punished for playing well, apparently, and Chauncey didn't want to run any of his sets because his sets are crap. So we'll recap the next game, which is on Sunday. Sunday, the Blazers play the Pistons. That's Bill Walton night, 6 p.m. tip-off time. So finally back to a little later post-game. And then they play Monday at Golden State. So hopefully we can catch you for those post-game streams. Shout out to BetUS. We're out of here. Blazers lose. They're still only 4 games out of a play-in because the Mavericks lost and also the Suns lost in overtime because Jokic is insane. So we'll see if the Blazers can ever make up any ground on this 4-game deficit that they have on the 10th seed, or if they can make up ground on the 8th best lottery odds that they could potentially chase if they want to. Anyway, we'll see what happens next. We'll have you covered with the next post-game show. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!